If you love those earthy, spicy saffron fragrances, you're gonna have to check out Zimaya Siada Nova. What's good, guys? Hunter here and welcome back to Fragrance Hunter. Hope you're all doing good. Today we are reviewing another brand new fragrance from the house of Zimaya, which Zimaya is not messing around lately, guys. They're dropping absolute gems. And Siada Nova is going to be another one of those gems. I recently reviewed Siada Regal. You probably caught that one. It is inspired by God of Fire. However, this one is going to be inspired by Maison Crivelli's Saffron Secret, which honestly I've never tried. I believe it's one of the newest fragrances from Maison Crivelli. But me, saffron's one of my favorite spices in the entire world, so you already know I probably will enjoy this DNA if it's anything like Saffron Secret. But it's not only about saffron, guys. This has a very earthy kind of twist to it, which is right up my alley. Now, I do also want to shout out Zimaya for sending this one over for review. You guys already know the drill. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. It's as simple as that. Plus, I hooked you guys up with a discount code. You can use code Hunter15 on the Zimaya website, which I believe is the only place you can find the brand new Siada line. So go ahead and use that code and save some money. Now let's run down some information. So Siada Nova was of course launched in 2025. It's brand new, hot off of the shelves from Zimaya for the retail price. Only size this one comes in, which is the 100 ml, is going to run you $45. However, if you use my code, it will bring it down to under 40 bucks. And at that price, guys, you're getting one steal of a fragrance. I'm not even gonna lie to you. For the concentration, this is gonna be an eau de parfum, so you're probably getting around 20-25% oils, which is very potent. And for the perfumer, that is Imran Fazalani, which I believe is like the in-house perfumer for Afnan and Zimaya and all of their sister companies. And if he is behind most Afnan and Zimaya fragrances, this guy knows what's up and knows what he's doing. So with all the information out all the way, let's get the packaging and presentation you get with Siada Nova now. All right, take a look at this box, guys, which is so high quality. Of course, have this kind of greenish, earthy kind of tone color going on with the gold logo right there, Siada Nova, and some Arabic. Zimaya in the gold in the corner. Nothing on the top or the back or the side. On the back of the box, so you do have your ingredients, batch code and barcode to authenticate product and see when it was produced. And look how this beauty opens up, guys. Your fragrance is going to be popped out to you in this beautiful kind of foam cutout. Of course, if you already seen my Regal review, the packaging is pretty much the same, just a different color and just very heavy as well. And looking at this bottle, this screams royalty and Regal. I love the design of this, guy. Look at that grayish kind of gold color scheme. You can see your juice level in there from the side. Of course, that plaque on the front. On the bottom, you got your sticker with your batch code and some information. Zimaya on top of the cap, which is in that gold. And guys, this cap is very heavy as well. Nothing inside of the cap, nothing on the atomizer, and it does hold in by friction very securely. All in all, beautiful presentation. And like I said in the other review, guys, this bottle is so heavy. In the top, you got spicy notes and amber. In the mid, you're gonna find the patchouli, saffron, woody notes, and tonka. In the base, you got oak moss, musk, and ambergris, and this will be classified as a spicy earthy. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. Honestly, not the best atomizer. Unfortunately, it's not pressurized, but that's not a deal breaker, of course. So let's go ahead and remind myself of Siada Nova now, and of course, I'll let you do the first sniff. So this bad boy right here is gonna open up very spicy. Primarily to my nose, I'm getting this spicy, dry, leathery saffron right off of the bat, guys. Like an overdose of this natural saffron. And me, I love saffron. If you don't already know, it's the most expensive spice in the world. I love the aroma from natural saffron. I even use it for cooking as well, like put it on top of steak, etc. And yeah, you're getting a burst of that, which makes sense because it is inspired by Maison Crivelli's Saffron Secret, which is of course another saffron targeted fragrance. So you're definitely getting an overdose of it. And even though the saffron's listed in the mid, you have spices listed in the opening. I'm primarily getting saffron. There might be some other supporting spices in the background, guys, but saffron takes front and center into this DNA. This is one of the driest leathery takes on saffron I've ever smelled, at least in a fragrance. A very natural saffron, guys. Along with the saffron, you're also going to get this earthy, resinous, warm amber, of course, which is kind of unique. You never see amber in the opening. It's usually a very heavy base note, but you're gonna get amber right off the bat mixed together with saffron. It definitely gives off this royal kind of Middle Eastern vibe in the opening of Nova. I mean, think in your head, spicy, dry, leathery saffron with earthy, warm amber. That's what you're getting right off of the bat, guys, and I love it. And personally, I've never smelled saffron like it in this fragrance. When you think of saffron, you think of like Baccarat Rouge 540. This is nothing close to Baccarat Rouge 540 at all. all, do not think that. That is kind of a more like sweeter, still a little bit of a spicy saffron, but this one is more natural, dry, and leathery saffron. Man, I wish I had a jar of saffron, which I usually do have, but I think I'm completely out to kind of smell that, just the straight up aroma compared to this, because it absolutely nails it, which is crazy. And this smells like a $300 plus fragrance, like it's inspired by the Saffron Secret, which is well over 300 bucks, and this is under $40. I mean, it's getting mind blown when it comes to perfumery. Now, as you start making your way into the mid, you're still gonna get that saffron and amber, of course, that pretty much lasts the length of the fragrance, being usually heavy base notes, but you are gonna get this grassy, earthy patchouli, guys. I love patchouli, of course. Probably my second favorite note in perfumery. And the patchouli is like the introduction of getting earthier and earthier in this DNA, because through and through, this is a spicy, earthy fragrance to its core. So if you're a patchouli head like myself, you're in for a treat once this one starts to dry down. Might even be sort of like a chocolatey patchouli as well, and have kind of those nuances in here, but definitely a heavy dose of patchouli. Now with the patchouli in the mid, it does have this nice kind of woody, kind of cedar wood vibe going on as well. So spicy, earthy, and woody. And this fragrance actually kind of reminded me of another fragrance that I have owned for a long time, which I'll let you know in a moment. Because in the base, in the final dry down of this one, you're gonna get this oak moss. Now the oak moss is ultra earthy, like extremely earthy, and almost like this damp kind of wet oak moss vibe, which I know oak moss is either a love it or hate it. I do love it because I love earthy fragrances, of course, but I can see why a lot of people wouldn't. But I gotta say, the oak moss is one of the stars of the show for sure, guys. Very strong oak moss vibe, but along with the oak moss, you do get this musky kind of ambergris base as well, which you already know. A DNA like this, ambergris is gonna absolutely complement it, which it does for sure in the dry down. But surprisingly, when I first got this one in, it kind of reminded me of Lalique's Encre Noir All Extreme, which I've had that bottle for probably around 7 years now. But that fragrance is kind of this wet, earthy vetiver fragrance, and it kind of goes in the same realm as that, which I don't think anybody has mentioned, talked about at all. It doesn't have saffron or anything along those lines, so it's nowhere identical to that fragrance, but just the dry down being very damp and earthy has a very similar vibe. If you've tried Encre Noir All Extreme and tried this, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It just comes down to, if you like spicy, earthy, woody fragrances, then you'll love this one. If not, it might not be for you. But for me personally, I love it and quickly became one of my favorite fragrances from Zimaya, which is hard to say because lately, like I said, they've been pumping out banger after banger. But check it out if you love those DNAs, or if you're looking for an alternative to Saffron Secret, which there might be a few of you guys out there don't want to spend over 300 bucks. You fell in love with that fragrance, this might be a good alternative. Like I said, I've never smelled Saffron Secret, so I couldn't tell you if it's that close to it or not, but as a standalone fragrance, guys, this stuff is incredible. For the best seasons to rock this, strictly fall and winter primarily for me, guys. It's too earthy, too woody, too spicy to wear in something like the high heat spring and summer days. So it's like the polar opposite to Siada Regal, which I just reviewed, which is a tropical fruity fragrance, which works perfect in the spring and summer. This one's strictly fall and winter, which is great for me because I'll probably get a lot more wearings out of this now, since right now we're going into the fall season, which is by far my favorite season for fragrances, guys, so I'm hyped up. For occasion, this one does give off formal vibes rather than casual vibes. Like I said, it has this kind of royalty feel to it, like a king. Plus, this smells like something you want to wear on special occasions only, rather than like an everyday running errands kind of office work fragrance at all, guys. It's not your everyday type of fragrance by any means. It smells a little bit too expensive for that, unless you want to smell like a walking king all day, which I mean, I do, but still, guys, when it comes down to it, this is not a fragrance you want to wear while wearing shorts, a hoodie, really, or anything like that. Even though you can dress it down, it absolutely works perfectly when you're dressing up, going on a date night in the evening, going to a fancy event, just something you really want to impress with. I think this is going to do that, which, like I said, is like the polar opposite to Siada Regal, which was a very casual, everyday, fruity type of fragrance. Go check out that review if you haven't already as well. And for gender, this one I believe is categorized as unisex, but I'm going to say it's unisex leaning masculine. It does have a masculine edge to it, where for me personally, I probably wouldn't want to smell this on my lady per se. It's a little bit too earthy and damp for that. And it just kind of gives off king vibes rather than queen vibes, if you know what I mean. But still, if a lady wants to wear this, she could. I just don't think it would be really best suited for her, but definitely for the men out there, this is going to be a great option for you. Of course, when you think of patchouli, spicy, woody, kind of leathery, oak moss style fragrances, you think masculine, right? And this one absolutely is. Now for age groups, this gives off mature vibes rather than youthful. This stuff means business. Somebody probably in their 30s and up rocking it the absolute best at the end of the day if I had to choose. But of course, if you are in the fragrances, wear what you want, when you want, at whatever age you are. You can be in your late teens rocking something like this if you want to be daring. At the end of the day, it's not a high school fragrance. It's not really even a college type of fragrance at all when you're like in your early 20s. absolutely a little bit more mature, somebody that has their life together, maybe even a father, a husband, etc. But of course, I do know young dudes out there love their spicy, earthy fragrances because I did at that age. But still, you can't deny that some fragrances lean more mature rather than youthful, and that's definitely the case with this, very mature leaning. Just because it gives off a scent profile that I think a more mature audience would appreciate rather than a youthful audience. When you think of youthful fragrance, you think of like playful, juvenile, fun, fruity type of stuff, very sweet. You don't think of earthy, spicy fragrances at all for those ages, especially if you're looking for compliments as well. So if you are a little bit younger, check out Siada Regal because that's gonna suit you much better than Nova. Now, wrapping the review off, talking on the performance you're gonna get from Siada Nova. So I've tested this one, I've had it for a few days, I'm wearing it. It's actually my scent of the day today as well, so you already know I know all about it. And on skin, guys, from testing, I got around 12 hours of longevity, which is very good, especially while being an EDP. This one did perform a little bit better than Regal, which I think I got around 10 hours. So yeah, this is a very strong, long-lasting, earthy type of fragrance that you're gonna have to commit to if you're rocking it. Because if you apply this, good luck getting it off, guys. It's gonna be a commitment, believe me. I'm actually surprised this stuff isn't in X straight because it definitely performs and kind of smells like one because how potent it is. So around 12 hours, which is above average performance, especially for an EDP like this. I usually only expect around 8 hours. So it did surprise me with the longevity side of things. Now with the projection, I did get about moderate projection, which means it's not gonna be like a close, intimate scent bubble fragrance, but it's also not gonna be a loud room flame projecting fragrance either. So expect to get maybe an arm's length of distance of projection when you kind of go about your day, especially for the first few hours. You will get smelled, you will get attention with it, whether it be good attention or bad attention. But if you're getting good attention from somebody, that's a good sign that they know what they're talking about, believe me, because this isn't a fragrance that the general public is really gonna give you compliments on. Unless you're around the right people, then maybe. This is a fragrance that's more suited for like the fragrance enthusiast and smells ultra niche, not something that smells like a designer, which of course makes sense because it's inspired by a Maison Crivelli, which is a very expensive niche fragrance. But at the end of the day, above average longevity with around 12 hours. If you apply your clothes, you'll probably get 2 days with about moderate projection. But I cannot express enough how impressed I've been with Zimaya lately, guys. You're killing it when it comes to fragrances, by far one of the best Middle Eastern brands now. I mean, just so impressive what they're doing over there, guys. You cannot deny that. But that's gonna do it for my review of the brand new Siada Nova. Let me know down below if you have any experience with the new Siada line. If you know anything about Zimaya, what is your favorite fragrance from them? Because I'm very curious. And of course, besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you haven't already, because what are you doing? I got you with daily fragrance content. And of course, I'll see all of you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody.